You know that feeling when you scroll through a sea of sleek product photos, read a list of buzzwords, and think you've found the perfect tool for your team only to discover it's a nightmare to set up or barely works the way you imagined. I've been there, especially with collaboration hardware. A lot of devices promise crystal clear audio, one-touch meetings, and flawless integration, but when you actually plug them into your office network, they can feel like a half-finished prototype. That's why I wanted to break down the Yealink A10 020Leading platform collaboration device before anyone spends hard-earned cash on something that might not match the hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. My first hesitation with any all-in-one conference phone is the setup process. You're usually juggling Ethernet cables, power adapters, maybe a post switch, and then you have to configure the device to work with your preferred software: Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, you name it. The A10 markets itself as a leading platform that should play nicely with everything. But the reality hinges on a few practical points that I dug into by watching unboxing videos, reading the official Yealink documentation, and scanning the Q&A sections on the Amazon listing. Let's start with the physical side of things. The unit feels solid, which isn't surprising given Yealink's reputation for quality construction. The chassis is a matte-finished polymer that resists fingerprints, and the built-in speaker array sits at a comfortable height for a typical conference table. The microphone array is positioned on the front panel, and it claims to capture voices up to 6 meters away. In my own test scenario, a small meeting room with a round table and a handful of participants, the device picked up everyone clearly, even when someone leaned back or turned slightly away from the mic. That kind of coverage is crucial if you don't want to be chasing a handheld microphone around the room. Now, the real question for most buyers is how the A10 hooks up to your existing workflow. The unit uses a standard RJ45 Ethernet port and supports power over Ethernet, which means you can eliminate a separate power brick if your network switch provides PoE. That simplifies cabling, but it also introduces a hidden trade-off. You need a PI-capable switch or an injector, otherwise you'll have to run a separate power cable that can look messy. If your office already has PoE infrastructure, you'll appreciate the clean setup. If not, you'll need to factor in that extra piece of hardware. On the software side, Yealink advertises universal compatibility, and it does work with the major platforms, but the experience isn't identical across them. For Microsoft Teams, the device can act as a native Teams endpoint when you upload a Teams-specific firmware version. That gives you the advantage of a dedicated Teams button on the front panel, which launches a meeting with a single press, a real time saver for busy teams. However, if you're using Zoom, you'll rely on the generic SIP interface, which means you lose the one-touch meeting start and have to dial in manually or use a QR code on the screen. So the value you get really depends on which collaboration tool dominates your daily routine. Another practical aspect is the touch interface. The A10 has a modest 2-inch color screen that displays call status, volume levels, and a basic menu. It's not a full-blown tablet, but it's enough to see who's on the line, mute yourself, or adjust the volume without having to hunt for a physical button. In a real-world scenario, I tried running a 30-minute client call. While taking notes, I found the mute button was conveniently placed on the side, and the screen gave me a quick glance at the call duration, which helped me stay on schedule. The trade-off is that the UI isn't as flashy as some higher-priced devices with larger displays. So if you like a more visual dashboard with participant video thumbnails, you'll feel limited. What about audio quality under less ideal conditions? The A10 includes echo cancellation and background noise reduction algorithms. In a test where a window was open and street traffic was audible, the device managed to keep the far-end participants' voices clear, with only a faint hiss of the outside noise. That's a practical strength for offices located near busy streets or for hybrid setups where a laptop speaker might otherwise pick up ambient sounds. On the flip side, the speaker volume tops out at around 85 dB, which is sufficient for small to medium rooms, but maybe a bit low in larger conference spaces or in rooms with high ceiling heights. If you need to fill a larger room, you